Happy Sabbath. Okay. All praise.
Today, try to go for about an hour or something, so we can feast, keep the new moon as it is appointed unto us. So let's get into some of these scriptures pertaining to the Sabbath and the new moon. Okay, so let's go to Nehemiah 9. So the topic is the new moon does not dictate the weekly 7-day Sabbath, as is being taught out there on the streets and these congregations, how that they'll say that the new moon governs or dictates the 7-day weekly Sabbath. That's not true. So we're going to deal with the fourth commandment, the Sabbath day, get a few scriptures, and get into the scriptures pertaining to the new moon, okay, and the Sabbath day. So Nehemiah 9. I'll give everyone some time to get it. But remember, Israel, we on a time frame here, so that's why sometimes we go too fast or something like that. You know, it's because we're on a time frame here. So Nehemiah 9. So again, the topic is the new moon does not dictate the weekly 7-day Sabbath. So as everybody can see, today is the new moon.
Right.
And it's also a weekly Sabbath. 7-day Sabbath, right?
Right.
See, it's all praises. So if you notice, you looked outside last night or whatnot, you didn't see the moon because it said its darkest stage. Okay. So the new moon, the moon goes through phases. Okay. You had a waning crescent, waxing crescent, whatever they want to say. When you read them scriptures, Israel, you don't read about the full moon being the new moon. When you read in the scriptures, you'll hear full moon, new moon. Right? It gives a distinction. You don't read about sliver, none of that. So we can't add to the scriptures. Try to get deep. No, we keep it basic. Just keep it basic. The Lord calling us in here to repent. We are the children of Israel, according to the Bible. And that's been hidden from us by our enemies, because they don't want to know who we are. So they'll give us names like black, colored, African, see, Puerto Rican, Guatemalan, let's name a few. Jamaican, West Indian, that's the direction. You see? So we've been given all these different names from our enemies. But truly we are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites, according to the scriptures, according to Deuteronomy 28, these are the curses that we're talking about. Leviticus 26. We was a great nation at one point in time, right? The Lord had children, his true children were the children of Israel. He chose that nation above all nations. So in saying that, wouldn't the Lord show the world, according to the scriptures, who his people are?
Yes, he would.
In the Bible? Yeah. But we so caught up into mainstream religion and following this world, we end up lost in the sauce. We be into these different devil doctrines. That's not good for us when there's only one doctrine. So let's get into this Nehemiah 9 and 12. So this is the time when you had a remnant of Israelites who came out of the Babylonian captivity. And we was in the Babylonian captivity for 70 years. But the Lord had gave us an expected end. He said after 70 years, we would come out of the Babylonian captivity. So he actually gave us a time frame. This captivity has not given us a time frame. Christ said there would be signs that we would be able to see to show that these will be the times of his second coming. So we're not supposed to be looking at the prophets and say, yeah, okay, 400 years, and start doing math on a calculator and say, okay, yeah, so the Lord, I'm going to estimate the time, 2019, he see? There we go following man again, Satan. And our Lord say he don't even know the time, but it's who? Father knows the time. Now wait a minute. If Christ is the Father, that means once he went back up to the heavens, then he would know the time he's coming back because he's the Father, right? Yeah. See? But we'll still believe that Christ is the Father. It makes no sense, Israel. And we still bite for it. Don't let these people cross you up. That's all Satan. That's Satan. We'll play with that poison, we'll get got. Like they say in the world, drink but don't swallow. Come on. Look but don't touch. See? Nehemiah 9:12. Let's get busy. We'll put that gas in the tank now. Say, moreover, thou leddest them in the day by a cloudy pillar, and in the night by a pillar of fire, to get them light in the way wherein they should go. So in the book of Nehemiah, it's given us the account of when we were in the wilderness, and how the Most High had his son Christ guide us and lead us in the wilderness, according to 1 Corinthians 10. You understand? Christ was always with his nation, the nation of Israel. So you can read that in 1 Corinthians 10. It is the Apostle Paul brings out how Christ was with us. He was that rock that followed us in the wilderness. Verse 13, thou camest down also upon Mount Sinai. You see? So now the account is being spoken of in Exodus 20, when the Most High went through 4 gates and came down upon Mount Sinai in the wilderness and spoke to our nation and our nation only. There was no other nations at Mount Sinai but the children of Israel. Okay? So when they talk about the mixed multitude and all that, that's not talking about all the other nations was with us and they came through the Red Sea with us and they was at Mount Sinai with us. That mixed multitude was, you had 600,000 men and children, women, elderly, all that. Animals and cattle. See, so that these nations are always trying to sneak their doctrine in to bring forth how they're going to be saved and have salvation with Israel and be on the same level. That's not true. Okay, but that's another class. It said, thou camest down also upon Mount Sinai and spakest with them, meaning our ancestors, from heaven, and gave them right judgments and true laws, good statutes and commandments, and madest known unto them thy holy Sabbath, and commandest them precepts, statutes, and laws by the hand of Moses thy servant. So what this is talking about is, again, Exodus 20. Where the Lord, the Most High, came down and spoke to our nation through the midst of fire. Now, did he give us religion, 10 different religions?
No.
He didn't give our nation religion. He gave us commandments to keep. And Moses, his job was to teach Israel the law, statutes, and commandments that was given him from the Most High. Okay? So we want to get this account because it said, thou madest known unto them thy holy Sabbath. So let's build it up. Let's go to Exodus, the 16th chapter. So who wrote the book of Exodus? Moses. All praises. Moses wrote the first 5 books. Who wrote the book of Isaiah?
Isaiah.
Who wrote the book of Jeremiah?
Jeremiah. Prophet.
Who wrote the book of Daniel?
Daniel.
So why are we saying this? Because of Israel, when they state of mind at times, they say, you start pulling the Bible open, who wrote that book? Man wrote that book. In their mind saying, what man? They thinking the white man. Those prophets we just named What's their nationality?
Israelites.
The Israelites. The Israelites are people of color. So it was the Holy Spirit that guided these brothers. It was the Most High inspiring these brothers, these prophets, to record our history. So this is a spiritual book, and the author of the book is the Most High. All scriptures are given and inspired by God. That's 2 Corinthians 3 or 2 Timothy 3. See? Don't let them tell you that, man wrote this book and came up with his own prophecies and all this other stuff. That's a lie also. Okay, so this is Exodus 16. So let's pay attention. This is cold-blooded history right here. And we're at the first verse. Exodus 16:1, and they took their journey from Elim. So where are we at?
Elam.
You're in Elim, right? In the wilderness. But we started to leave Elim, right? Because it said they took their journey from Elim. And all the congregation of the children of Israel came into the wilderness of Sin. So now we left Elim and came to the wilderness of Sin. Now right off the back, Israel, who did the Lord call his congregation?
Israel. Children of Israel.
That's precise. Because Israel was always that church, even in the wilderness. It tells us that in Acts 7. You have always been the congregation of the Lord. It's telling us that in the law and the prophets. Hold that. Somebody get Psalm 74. Psalm 74. So you see these mega churches with these congregations. You got all these different nations up in there. That's not the congregation of the Lord. Thus saith the scriptures. So this is Psalm 74, right? The book of Psalms 74 and 2. Psalm 74 and 2.
Psalm 74 and 2. Remember thy congregation, which thou hast purchased of old.
See, so in this psalm, the brother's asking the Lord to remember that this congregation, Lord, that you purchased of old time in the past. We're reading about that congregation. So the brother said, remember, Lord, that congregation you purchased. Because why? We want salvation. Read on.
The rod of thine inheritance.
So it said, the rod of thy inheritance. So this congregation will also be known as the rod of the inheritance of the Lord. Go ahead.
Which thou hast redeemed.
Which thou hast redeemed. Meaning which you redeemed from Egypt. Go ahead.
This Mount Zion.
This who?
This Mount Zion, wherein thou hast dwelt.
So who was the congregation of the Lord that the Lord purchased from old and redeemed from Egypt? Israel, Mount Zion. Mount Zion is the rod of his inheritance. Go to Jeremiah 10. Jeremiah 10. And 14.
Jeremiah 10:14. Every man is brutish in his knowledge.
Right. So the Lord said every man is brutish. The word brutish means foolish. What makes man foolish in the eyes of God? When man comes with his knowledge. See? That's why you got such thing as brute beasts, dumb beasts. See? So read on.
Every founder is confounded by the graven image.
So when man makes graven images and they call it a god, that person becomes confounded. They get spirits on. That's why we ain't supposed to be bowing down to idols, making pictures and posters and saying this is Jesus Christ, either white or black, pink, yellow, purple. We ain't supposed to be dealing with no idols. When the Most High came down through the 4 gates, we didn't see a similitude. And he did that on purpose. See? So this verse here is so powerful because it's telling us about religion. When man is coming with their idols, they're confounded. So these religions, these man-made religions, be putting spirits on our people. We go in, look to be smart, come out worse. You see what I'm saying? Start asking a lot of our youth about Abraham and who was he? They talking about who? Abraham Lincoln? See, they don't be knowing the scriptures. Start talking about Paul. They talking who? Paul Revere? Lost. See, so we got to get back on track, Israel. We got to get back on track. Okay, you got a lot of Israelites out there as we speak with the Bible in their hand, with graven images out there with their so-called camps. They ain't doing nothing different from Catholicism and the Southern Baptists and the Jehovah's Witness. The Jehovah's Witness like to say they don't have idols and all that, but you check out their comic book, and they come knock on the door, they give you their little comic book, the Watchtower magazine, who in there?
A false image of a European devil.
Exactly. And they try to play games. You see. Well, let's read on.
It says, for his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them.
There ain't no life in these idols. Go ahead.
They are vanity, and the work of errors.
Lord said they're vanity. These idols are vanities. They're the work of errors. So these brothers holding their arms up with this false image of Christ and all that, and it's on the ground. That's not Christ. It's a work of errors. Step on it and you'll see it get mad. Because they worship the thing. You see? It's a work of error. They got that tall image or statue of a fake Christ in Brazil on some mountaintop. Crazy stuff. You look at some of these documentaries. You got Israel bowing down to idols. False images of Mary. They crying to some picture, image. Then her name changes as you go down the coast. She's Fatima, Guadalupe, Mary. Which one is it? How's the name changing? You see? Devil worship. That's what it is. It's a work of errors. Go ahead.
It says, in the time of their visitation, they shall perish.
So when the Lord come back, what's going to happen to these idols? They're going to get destroyed. See? Read on.
It says, the portion of Jacob is not like them.
So what does that mean by the show of hands? Because this be broken down wrong also. Who knows? By the show of hands. Well, brother. Go ahead, brother.
Portion of Jacob is the 12 tribes of Israel. It's not like them. These are the believers. Y'all won't take heed to those customs and those vanities.
Is he right?
No.
You say no? Anybody else? What you just say? Agreeing with him?
No, I'm listening.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, how would I?
It said the portion of Jacob is not like them. So we're coming off of that psalm where the Most High is our. It's the Most High is not like an idol. He's not like idols. Because the Most High is our portion.
Y'all got it? You will write that down. Because you're going to be asked again, so you should remember it. So you can't, the Most High can't be compared to no idol. No poster board, nothing. You can't, we dealing with a living power, the creator of heaven and earth, the sea and all that in the midst. You see? So the portion of Jacob is the Most High, the Lord. He's not like them. What's the them? The idols. Read on.
It says,
So what's after them?
2 dots.
To 2 dots. That means that the remaining portion goes with what we just read. Go ahead.
For he is the former of all things.
So if it was broken down like Chu was saying it, Charles say that's the saints, the believers, Israel, then it's going to come out. See, Israel is the form of all things. We created the piano, we created wind, we created the ear, we created the oven. We started going into that route, right?
Right.
But it ain't saying that. What does it mean then when it says, for he is the former of all things on this side, the right hand side? Who is the he? Okay, the Most High. What does it mean? He is the former of all things. There you go. See, now it's going smooth. See, that's how it's supposed to flow. And we break it down together. See, that's the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding right there. So the Most High, through Christ, is the creator of all things. Gio.
Yeah, can you repeat that? What you said?
Go ahead. One brothers want to explain for your brother.
When you say the portion of Jacob is not like them, and the 2 dots, it says for he. It's talking about one person. It's talking about the Most High, not like the whole 12 tribes.
Right. So he's the former,
They created everything.
right, of everything. He did. He used his son.
Through Christ.
See, but all glory goes to the Father, because the Father gave the blueprint to his son. And that's why he told his son, let us make man in our image. You see. Read on, brother.
It says, and Israel.
Now it says, and what?
And Israel
And Israel
is the rod of his inheritance.
Yeah, the precept. So Israel is Mount Zion. Israel is the rod of the Most High's inheritance. Israel is that congregation that the Most High and Christ purchased of old time. It's you and I, our people, our ancestors. See? Go ahead.
It says the Lord of hosts is his name.
The Lord of hosts is his name. See? All praises. So we can go back to Exodus 16. Everybody clear?
Yep.
Okay. Exodus 16 and 1.
So it says, and they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai.
Right, so now we're in the wilderness of sin, but we moving towards where?
Sinai.
Mount Sinai. Okay. Read on.
It says, on the 15th day of the 2nd month after their departing out of the land of Egypt.
So on the 15th day of the 2nd month, we're right there at the wilderness of sin. Right? We're right there. It's the 2nd month, 15th day. Has the Lord talked about the moon yet? No. Okay, so we want to keep that in mind. Remember, we banking off Nehemiah 9. So just keep that in your mind. Don't we just building it up. Go ahead.
It says in the 2nd verse, and the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness.
So here we go again. Israel get a taste of some adversity. Their eyes is on Moses and Aaron. You see? All that hate for the Lord is really coming out towards them. So what is murmuring? Complaining, the evil speaking on the side, negative speaking. Because that adversity hit. So now they got to deal with the mouthpieces. Aaron, Moses, go ahead.
The 3rd verse says, and the children of Israel said unto them, would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full. For ye have brought us forth unto this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger.
So you see, so they look at Moses and Aaron as if Moses and Aaron took them out of Egypt to kill them in the wilderness. See, they read things wrong. They got spirits on them. Adversity is there. They mad. They angry. So you know how you get. You're mad, you're angry, you read things wrong, see things wrong. Three brothers in the corner talking scripture, they talking about me. Sisters doing this and that, oh, they talking about me. All type of stuff going on. That's what be happening. Israel being carnal. They looking at Egypt like it was the best place for them. But in Egypt, what was Israel actually doing? Crying out to the Lord, wanting deliverance. Right? That's in Exodus, the 3rd chapter. Read on.
It says, Then said the Lord unto Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you.
So this will be that spiritual bread called manna. This will come from heaven. Go ahead.
And the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them.
That I may what?
That I may prove
The
them.
Lord say, the people shall go out, Moses, Aaron, and gather a certain rate, a certain portion every day. This is to prove them. Try their hearts. Go ahead.
It says, whether they will walk in my law or no.
Whether they will walk in my law or no. So this is a proving ground here. The whole wilderness situation was to prove us. See? Read on.
And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily.
See that? So look at that verse. So Lord say we'll rain down bread from heaven, and then we were supposed to gather a certain portion every day. But on the 6th day, we would get twice as much. And on that 6th day, we had to prepare. You understand? So the Lord proving our nation right here. We're going to see why would he give us twice as much on this 6th day. So notice Israel got to count. They got to know days, right?
Right.
That's right. So read on.
It says, 6th verse, Exodus 16 and 6. And Moses and Aaron said unto all the children of Israel, at even, then ye shall know that the Most High hath brought you out from the land of Egypt. And in the morning, then ye shall see the glory of the Lord. For that he heareth your murmurings against the Lord. And what are we that you murmur against us?
So you see what Moses saying, who are we that you murmur against us? You really speaking evil of the Lord. See, that's what Israel was showing hate for. Go ahead.
It says, and Moses said, this shall be when the Lord shall give you in the evening flesh to eat.
And Moses said, this shall be, what he just said in the 6th and 7th verse. When the Lord shall give you in the evening flesh to eat. Go ahead.
It says, and in the morning bread to the full, for that the Lord heareth your murmurings which you murmur against him. And what are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against the Most High. And Moses spake unto Aaron, say unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, come near before the Lord, for he hath heard your murmurings. And it came to pass, as Aaron spake unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak unto them, saying, at even ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread, and ye shall know that I am the Lord your God. And it came to pass that at even the quails came up and covered the camp.
So the quails is like fowls, clean fowl that we could eat. Meat. So the Lord was blessing us with bread and flesh. You see? So can we eat meat? Yes, lawful meat. Okay. Yeah, brothers teaching we can't eat quails. Brother, you didn't read the book of Exodus? Straight up. There'd be some crazy doctrines out there. I'm like, well, where are we getting all this stuff? Read on.
Second portion of 13. And in the morning the dew lay round about the host. And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoarfrost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, It is manna.
It is manna. Go ahead.
For they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, This is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat.
See, so Israel in the morning seen round, like hoarfrost, but it was actually bread. It was sweet. Israel didn't know what it was. They called it manna. Okay. So the Lord blessed us. Go ahead.
It says, verse 16, This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded.
So now Moses said, This is the thing, Israel, that the Lord hath commanded. What thing? Go ahead.
Gather of it, every man according to his eating, an omer for every man, according to the number of your persons.
So this was a commandment given by the Most High. He said, look, Israel, you gather this manna, as every man have need. But you can only gather a omer, one omer. That's a certain portion, a measurement. Go ahead.
It says, Take ye every man of them which are in his tents.
So then the brother would have to, look out for those that was living with him in his tents and gather for them. At this time, remember, we were staying in what you call tents or tabernacles in the wilderness. Okay, read on.
And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more, some less. And when they did meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating.
So what does that mean, that 18th verse?
Abundance.
Huh?
Abundance.
They had abundance, okay. You had larger families, some smaller families. But what does that mean there? You guys speak up.
Oh, they all had equal portions.
Okay.
He provided all of their needs.
Right. So both go together. So they all had that equality. None lacked in the congregation. Paul uses this here. That's why I asked the question when he's dealing with the church in Corinth. So they didn't lack. You see, when it came to the manna, they all could eat. You eat, I'm eating, you eat. We all eat, you see? Like that. Read on.
It says in the 19th verse, And Moses said, Let no man leave of it till the morning.
So what does that mean? Verse 19, at a show of hands. Go ahead, bro.
It says, Let no man leave of it till the morning, so they couldn't leave the manna out in the morning. Or not get it. They couldn't go get it in the morning.
They couldn't go get it?
It couldn't be left out in the morning.
Okay. What you was going to say?
The manna couldn't be left out until the morning, meaning when they gathered the manna, they had to eat it before that next morning came. Otherwise, it wouldn't be good when you eat it.
Right, so we couldn't have leftovers of it. Well, I saved this till tomorrow. Was that a commandment?
Yes.
Yeah, because he just told Moses, right? And Moses said, This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded in the 16th verse. But we're going to see the hard-headedness of Israel in the congregation. Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them left of it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank.
See that? So what was up with this group of Israelites in the congregation?
Rebellious.
Yeah, you have element of that in Israel. I ain't doing nothing what's being said. I'm going to do my thing. Right? And what happened to that manna?
It bred worms and stank.
It had worms all in it and it was stinking. See, go ahead.
And Moses was wroth with them.
So it upset Moses. Israel wasn't listening. So who were they despising?
The Lord.
The Lord. They wasn't about his commandments. See? So the fruit started to show right there. Didn't the Lord say, I'm going to prove Israel? Okay, go ahead.
It says, verse 21, and they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted.
So each day in the morning, how much will we gather of this manna? 1, 2, 3. Go ahead, Jay.
Just enough for the people in their tent.
Okay, what's just enough? Use your weapon. Go ahead, Paul.
According to the need.
Go ahead. According to that need, go ahead, Paul. Enough for his eating. Anybody else? How much?
According to the portion.
According to the portion. Y'all saying the same thing. Go ahead, Yahweh.
Every man, when you read verse 16, it says, every man according to his eating, an omer for every man, according to the number of your persons, take ye every man for them which are in his tent. So it would be an omer.
That's right.
Every man would be able to grab an omer, according to the eating.
See? Omer is a certain portion measure. Okay? So here we find out why were these questions being asked. It's for a reason. Okay, so let's read on.
It says in the 22nd verse, Exodus 16:22. And it came to pass that on the 6th day,
That on the 6th day, go ahead.
they gathered twice as much bread.
They gathered twice as much bread. Go ahead.
2 omers.
How many?
2 omers.
Okay, so now we see why we saw 1 omer, now it's 2 omers. See? So now we got 2 omers on what day, Charles?
6.
The 6th day. So all Israel counting. We ain't heard nothing about no moon, right?
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
It said 2 omers for 1 man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And he said unto them, this is that which the Lord hath said.
Now Moses saying another. Now this is what the Lord hath said. He gave him the command for the other part, the first omer. Now he's going to give him another commandment from the Lord. Go ahead.
Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath.
So when would the holy Sabbath fall for us? On what day?
Sabbath day.
7th day. So ain't no, my Sabbath is every day. There's somebody rebellious. They don't like the rest. You see? They don't want to follow the instructions given unto them. That's Israel for you. See? The Lord said through Moses, tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Go ahead.
Bake that which you will bake today.
So when did we bake this manna on what day?
The 6th day.
The 6th day, that's when we did the cooking. See? Because on the 7th day Sabbath, are we supposed to be cooking?
No.
No, we're supposed to be resting. You see? Read on.
And sieve that you will sieve.
So what does it mean to sieve something? Boil.
Stew.
You stew it. So you got, like today, you microwave sieve things. You see? The Lord said we ain't supposed to be cooking on the Sabbath day.
That's why they call it a microwave oven.
Straight off the back. See? So we'll try to, you know what? Let me iron. So we do that jailhouse rock. Let me iron a quesadilla. Put it in a bag. Or we'll get some oatmeal and all that stuff and rip it up. You know how you got that water thing in your house, the hot and the cold. You know, I'll just use the hot water. And the thing say this how you cook it. But we try little ways to keep the commandment. You understand? We let the sun
Put it
heat up. So
put in the dash.
we want that hot food. But Lord over years been showing us, I've been guilty of it, that's why I talk about it. Lord over years say, man, you gotta stop that.
Sternum.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Thermos.
the thermos and all that. We be playing with the Lord.
Even the ones that hit the stove with the pilot fire.
Right.
Keep them in the stove. I'll sit on top of the stove stay high.
Exactly. See?
Warm.
So we gotta be careful, Israel. Keep the Sabbath day holy. See? And prepare. So let's read on.
It says, and that which remaineth over, lay up for you to be kept until the morning.
Y'all see the difference?
Yep.
At one point in time, we couldn't, during the week, we couldn't have that manna be left over.
First 5 days.
Right? Them 5 days. The 6th day, we got 2 portions. Could we have leftovers
Yes.
on the Sabbath? Why? Because we ain't supposed to be cooking it. Now we have the leftovers, so then what would we eat?
The manna.
The manna, the leftovers. You see? All right. Go ahead.
24th verse. And they laid it up until the morning as Moses bade. And it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein.
See that? Because they're on point now with the Lord. See, now they moving with the Lord. They ain't doing their own thing. See? Read on.
And Moses said, eat that today.
What was they to eat that today?
Because now it's the 7th there in the Sabbath
Right.
at this point.
And they to eat what? Those leftovers. So we had already baked that which we would bake, and seed that which we would seed, and the leftovers of it. Now we're keeping the Sabbath day. This is how we observe the Sabbath day, Israel, together. You see? So you get your, the Sabbath come in like today. There's no cooking because it's the 7-day Sabbath, but it's the new moon. So that's why we have like cold cuts and pasta salads and stuff like that. Because the new moon so happened to fall on the weekly 7-day Sabbath. You see? So there's no cooking on the Sabbath. You had something?
No, I was just saying too also, I know when we first came in, back in the world, you wouldn't put your food out overnight like that. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, this won't spoil. But this shows that we trust in the Most High, like He's showing us by getting the extra on those days. It shows that, a product of our faith. Because we leaving it out. The first thing I know when I heard them, like, leave my food out. It's gonna spoil. But now if you leave it out, now the Most High, because you're doing it to the Most High, the Christ is telling you to do it by faith.
We didn't have refrigerators at this time. But even though when you live in dorms and you drunk and you buy pizzas and all that, be all on the table, you wake up eating slices, you don't care. So that's a whole nother thing. But all right, let's continue. Verse 25.
It says, and Moses said, eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Lord. Today you shall not find it in the field.
Today you're not going to find the manna in the field, Israel, where you can go out there and gather it, because it's the Sabbath day. Read on.
6 days you shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath.
See how he's stressing that to us? The 7th day is the Sabbath day. Read on.
In it,
meaning the Sabbath day, go ahead.
there shall be none.
So the Lord said, look, in the Sabbath day ain't going to be no man out there in the field. He already gave us a double portion. So does the Lord want us to keep his Sabbath day?
Yes.
Yeah. So why would he do away with his Sabbath day? He requiring us to keep it. Say, you know what, I'm going to change the Sabbath day on them to the first day of the week. And then I'm going to hold them guilty. No. He would never change his high holy day, the Sabbath day, right? That's why you would see during the time of Christ and all that, they knew when the Sabbath would come in. What was Christ's custom?
He was going to synagogue on the Sabbath.
Every Sabbath day, that was his custom. You see? It's this man that came in, a so-called European came and said, the first day of the week, this the day of worship. And on Sunday, you got the people all into the churches, freeways is cleared. The people actually worshiping the sun on Sunday and not even be knowing it. You see? So that'd be a trick. And then they'll drop a little something at you and say, you know what, Easter Sunday. Christ died on Good Friday, rose on Sunday. So you catch him, which he didn't rise on Sunday. And they'll take you right there to Matthew 28 and all that. They busted. Because it say as the first day of the week, so they already told them themselves. They already telling you Sunday is the first day of the week. See? These guys, this so-called European be lying, man. So let's read on.
It says, and it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none. And the Lord said unto Moses, how long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? See, for that the Lord hath given you the Sabbath, therefore he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day.
Right. So we didn't go out on the 7th day to gather manna. Because you got some Israelites, just the Sabbath, I'm staying home. I'm going to go to Exodus 16. You read about Christ, although how they out doing the work of God.
Or at the synagogue.
At the synagogue on the Sabbath day. So they'll take this and just
Spin it.
spin it. The Sabbath day is a holy convocation. Leviticus 23. It's a gathering. Okay. We're going to keep going a little bit because we're about to start wrapping it up so we can feast. Continue, brother.
So we have verse 31, Exodus 16 to 31. And the house of Israel called the name thereof manna, and it was like coriander seed, white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. And Moses said, this is the thing which the Lord commanded, filling over of it to be kept for your generations,
Oh, that word again. Read on.
that they may see the bread wherewith I have fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you forth from the land of Egypt. And Moses said unto Aaron, take a pot and put an omer full of manna therein, and lay it up before the Lord to be kept for your generations. As the Lord commanded Moses, so Aaron laid it up before the testimony to be kept. And the children of Israel did eat manna 40 years.
How long did we eat manna?
40 years.
So how did we eat it? How did it go down? Real quick. Go ahead.
All 5 days, you would have that omer rain down every morning. On the 6th day, you would have every 6th day in that morning, you would have 2 omers that would rain down. And through that entire 40-year period, Israel would eat the manna twice as much on the Sabbath day. And the first 5 days, they would only get 1, and they wouldn't keep it over. They wouldn't eat the leftovers on the first 5 days. But on the 6th day, they'd eat the leftovers.
So did they know about the Sabbath day for 40 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ain't read nothing about the Sabbath was dictated by the moon.
No.
Remember, we came into wilderness of sin on what day? The 15th day, the 2nd month.
Right.
You see that? So read on.
So it says, and the children of Israel did eat manna 40 years until they came to a land inhabited. They did eat manna until they came unto the borders of the land of Canaan. Now an omer,
What?
now an omer is the 10th part of an ephah.
Right. So that's a portion. Certain measurement. So this was going to lead us to, you can read on your own, Amos 8 and 5. It talks about the new moon and the Sabbath day and how Israel, the rich, was getting over on the poor, giving them chaff and all this foolishness. And the Lord would deal with us for that. But go to Exodus 20. So we at Mount Sinai right here, 20 and 8.
Exodus 20 and 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
So is that powerful? The Lord would tell us to remember the Sabbath day, not forget it. So the Sabbath day will fall every 7th day of the week. Weekly Sabbath to be on the 7th day. 6 days we to labor. Read on.
It says, In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
So this is the Most High speaking to our nation. This is what Nehemiah was referring to right here. So when the Most High spoke about the 7th day, Sabbath, what is he taking our nation back to? In all this what we just read, and from 8 on down, what is he taking us back to in regards to the Sabbath?
Creation.
Creation. So when was the moon created? And the sun and the stars on what day?
The fourth day.
When is the Sabbath day?
The 7th day.
The 7th day. So how could the moon or a new moon dictate the 7th day of the week Sabbath?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. So that right there, that doctrine is filled with holes. Lunar Sabbath. You see? Moon created on the 4th day. Sabbath is on the 7th day. Do the math. You see? And the Sabbath would never change. Because when Christ dealt with the Pharisees, what did he tell the Pharisees? He said he made the Sabbath. The Sabbath was made for man.
Right.
And not man for the Sabbath. He's taking the Pharisees back to creation. They knew exactly when the Sabbath would be, Israel. And what day it fell. That's why when you read, when we went into Assyrian captivity real quick, Tobit kept Pentecost.
Right.
And that's called the Feast of 7 Weeks.
Yep.
So how many Sabbaths we would have to count?
You would have to have 7 Sabbaths.
7
Complete.
Sabbaths, 49 days complete. And on 50th day, means Pentecost, 50 means Penta, we gathered together. That was in the Assyrian captivity. What about when you read in the Greek captivity, with Judas, Maccabees, and all that? They said they kept the Feast of Weeks in 2 Maccabees 12. So y'all can write all these down and study it. And then after that was over, it said the Sabbath came. Because you had a bunch of Israelites who died because they was into idolatry. And they didn't bury them on the 7th-day Sabbath. They waited after it. Because we don't deal with burials on the Lord's Sabbath days. We deal with direct burials. So these are all future classes that we hear. We can go into all this. You see? So then what about during the time that Christ died and resurrected and ascended back in regards to Pentecost? When did we keep that? Same time frame, right?
Yeah.
That was in Acts what?
2.
Chapter 2. So if tabernacles ain't changing, how's everything else changing? How's the Sabbath day changing? You see? It's when we got spirits on us, we start coming in and twisting up stuff. So we always knew when the feast fell, right?
Right.
When the Sabbaths came in, the weekly Sabbaths. Don't get caught out there, Israel. You got brothers that got caught out there that was part of congregations talking about they keep the new moons on their day and then come down and fellowship with brothers and sisters. We keep the new moon on a certain day. Is that being on one accord?
No. That's 2 accord.
That's division. That's like me and here we go, we marry our daughters off to some brother, and he decided to keep the new moon when he wants to keep it, and we family, and then what's that? Now my daughter, oh, that's his daughters. That's division right there, right?
Right.
And when we're bold like that and all that, we end up floating away. Bye, because the spirit ain't there. It's their pride. So we always got to remember, Israel, let's stay in the scriptures together. We have to live the scriptures and be willing to live the scriptures. We have to change. Okay? We have to change. So I wanted to say that because, you know, again, we got a feast. You know, it's a bunch of questions. If you have questions, we're going to feast, and then we could, Lord willing, answer the questions. Okay? So that's it. All right. All praises to the Most High in Christ.